Hey, and welcome back. I'm just going to do a quick review of last night's episode of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 2, Episode 9, The Things We Do for Love. Well, the things they do for love are a bit beyond what I think most people would do because some of these people are pretty desperate. Overall, I'd actually rate this episode about an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good, and I'm including the live event after that. There's like an hour-long live event after the show. It wasn't the greatest, and I don't really understand the format and what the point is of these things. They had, some weird guests, some random friends of some of the cast members, and also Abby from the previous season, who seems to be doing really well, actually. Good for her. But yeah, so there were a couple moments in the show that I actually found very touching, and I can't believe I felt that way. So I was a little, taken by surprise by some of my reactions to stuff, but whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna get right into it. My favorite couple, Angela and Michael. Wow, what a train wreck. Oh my goodness. So last episode they were fighting. They'd been fighting. And this episode things seem to be going a little bit better. And Michael takes her on a hike. They go up this mountain to look at this historical site. And everything's great. And then they go for dinner or whatever after. And Angela's decided he's earned it. He's earned it. So she reaches into her ample bosom, reaches in and pulls out a crumpled up American flag and hands it to him and says, "Welcome to America, Michael." Oh my gosh, he's so happy. He's made it. He opens up the flag. There's an engagement ring that she had bought for him in one of the earlier episodes in the season at a pawn shop with her criminal, disgusting daughter, Scotty. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my previous video. It's not for the faint of heart. Scotty is disgusting, and I hope they're not going to show her on any more episodes, but whatever. Anyway, so he's so happy. He's going to the States. They cut away to him. "I'm going to the States. Donald Trump, here I come." Yes, Donald Trump indeed. Your fiance is Donald Trump. Give Angela an orange spray tan and a comb over, and she is Donald Trump. No wonder he likes her, although I really don't even think he does. So he's pretty happy. Now this is one of the parts where, in spite of myself, I thought something was kind of cool. Now, clearly he's a scammer, right? He's scamming her. He's just using her to get to the States because why else would he be talking to her? But she's got her own ulterior motives too. She's into this trash TV. She and Scotty have been on Maury a few times. She's looking for her 15 minutes of trashy fame. And she's doing an amazing job, let's be honest. Good for her, I guess. She's certainly getting farther than most people would in getting this kind of fame. Anyway, but yes, back to what I was saying. This is the part where I can't believe I was actually sort of touched by this. He puts on the engagement ring and then turns around, gets down on his knee, and he proposes to her. And he pulls out an engagement ring. And oh my goodness, she's so happy. She puts it on her finger and she says, "Mine's prettier and it's nice." And I actually said, "Oh, that's nice." Then I felt weird knowing that I got taken in by that train wreck. But I don't know. It was a nice moment, I have to say. Now, these were the first of 3 couples who got engaged on the show last night. The hits keep coming. So next is my favorite. No, he's not my favorite anything. He's a tub of goo. Ricky and Jimena. And I almost said Ricky and Melissa. And let's face it, poor Jimena has had enough of that. So the episode starts off, she's still mad because Ricky had just told her about Jimena and how that's why he had actually come to Colombia to meet with Melissa. Yeah, did I say, you know what I mean? So he's talking to Jimena about Melissa. Melissa, yes, Jimena's mad about Melissa. I'm getting my names confused here. So anyway, starts off, she's mad, whatever, but he manages to talk her out of it and telling her, "Smile, smile, oh," and she does. So I'm gonna do a separate video about Ricky and Jimena, but suffice it to say, I don't think he's, like, I know for a fact he's not, well, I don't know anything for a fact, but he's not on the up and up. This guy has concocted his whole life just to appear on the show, and the production company, which isn't TLC, I found out it's actually something else, Sharp Productions or whatever. TLC just carries the show. I don't really know, or they're involved. I'm not sure. But anyway, so they are actually aware of some of the falsehoods that are being passed along in the show, which included the fact that Ricky is actually still legally married to his ex-wife. And I had done a previous video that I think I got some stuff wrong in it. I had said that his wife was mad because Katie Not Holmes, the Reddit moderator, had gone out with him. I think it actually is a bit more complicated than that, so I'll do a separate video on that later. But anyway, so he wins his way back into her heart somehow. I don't know how this little player gets all these women, but apparently he's a smooth talker. I don't see it. I don't see it. Anyway, so he proposes to her on, oh, before that, must mention, she decides that she wants him to prove his devotion to her before she'll even consider going forward. And she says, in order to prove your love to me, jump into this water. They're standing on a lake, on a dock on a lake. And he says, oh, I don't know how to swim. And she says, okay, jump in. So this reminded me of that scene in Friends, you know, where, okay, so like Ross and Rachel, they have a fight, and Monica has this like glass of like fat, you know, from cooking. She'd been pouring, so it's like a glass of fat. And basically Rachel says, if you want to prove your love to me, drink the fat. And so Ross is like, all right, fine. And he goes to drink the fat, and she stops him. Oh my God, you were really going to drink the fat. Well, Jimena did not stop Ricky. He jumped into the water. He can't swim. That is true. He floundered around looking like the whale that he is. And basically the producers actually had to pull him out, because not only is he can't swim, he has no upper body strength apparently. Like, he was clutching the dog. Ugh, you know, whatever. Anyway, so she's all happy that he's done this for her. And then, yes, he does propose. And she seems genuinely happy. And she cries a little, and they're engaged. So that's couple number 2 that got engaged. The third couple, Tariq and Hazel. Now, it's getting harder and harder for me to watch this couple, because after seeing where Hazel comes from, like, she is from abject poverty. And if you look at her, like, yes, she's a beautiful girl. She's 25 years old. She looks very young, except her eyes look 100. You know what I mean? Like, she has seen some stuff, and I think she's gone through some horrible things, and I think she looks malnourished. Like, she just, and I don't mean that in a, I'm so jealous of this, you know, supermodel who's skinny, get some fat, men don't like bones or whatever. Not like that. Like, I really think that she's actually seriously malnourished, and so desperate to raise her situation that she will do or say anything that Tariq wants in order to get that ring on her finger and get over to the States. So before she manages to get the ring out of him, she made some, okay, first of all, he's like, oh, let's FaceTime my daughter, you can meet her online or whatever, but then they go to FaceTime her, and then he's like, get out of the frame. He doesn't want his ex to see her. She's very upset. She talks to her sister. Her sister says, you know, tell him I'll set you up with a Japanese guy. Maybe he's gonna, you know, have a lot of money, whatever. Her sister's in Japan. I'm jumping all over the place here. So anyway, she uses this to try and make Ricky jealous, and maybe it worked, because yes, he ended up proposing. I feel bad. Like, it's creepy. Like, she's like, this is abject poverty. Like, we're exploiting someone from a situation that just, it's not, it seems like, ugh, it seems a little, and she will do or say anything to get that guarantee. And some of this refers to the live event where cousin Dean, not brother, okay, it's not his brother. They keep calling him his brother, but Dean is not Tariq's brother, he's his cousin. And I'm getting this information from some Reddit investigators who have taken the time to look this stuff up, and it's his cousin, not his brother. Whatever reason they're calling him his brother. On the live event, Dean says, well, the reason I was asking Hazel if she was woman enough for Tariq is because Tariq has some, some big desires and some, whatever. So basically what he says is he and Tariq both are into these menage a trois situations and basically orgies, multiple, I don't know exactly what he was saying, but he's like, oh, and you know what? Hazel can keep up because she's bisexual. Now, I'm not saying she's not necessarily bisexual. This isn't a completely unheard of thing. But I feel like she would say she was no matter what, because this is what Tariq wants. This is what she'll give Tariq. She wants that green card. She's gonna do and say whatever. So anyway, okay, back to the Philippines here. They're on the beach at El Nido, and beautiful resort, by the way. I looked it up. It's actually really not that expensive. But anyhow, so he pulls out, oh my gosh, this is so cringeworthy, okay? He's like, hey, we're walking on the beach. I got a little beach music for you. And he pulls out this little speaker thing, and oh my gosh, he plays, it's him rapping, and it's just, it's awful. I was cringing. I actually wanted the scene to be over, just I can't. And Hazel didn't look impressed, but she's probably like, what's happening, because she always is like, what's happening? And oh my gosh, it's like, no, Tariq, don't. Just please don't. Apparently he is a rapper, and Dean, the cousin, not brother, is some kind of, they do it together. He's the producer, whatever. And I believe Tariq refers to himself as the Black Anthony Bourdain, and I could be getting that wrong, but yeah, that's his rapper name, the Black Anthony Bourdain. You know what? Google it. I'm wrong, I'm sure. But anyhow, so he plays this rap music, and I'm just like, oh God. And then he proposes to Hazel, and she manages, to, yes, will you marry me? Yes. Do you love Tariq? Yes. That's pretty much all the emotion she can manage. Probably because she's malnourished and needs to eat and to get some health care and to oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, they're engaged now too. So yeah, that's it for them. Darcy and Jesse. Now, for a second, and maybe dare I hope that they're actually over. Please, God, please let them be over. Please, 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 please. I don't care what anybody says. I like Darcy. Okay, she's fun, and oh my gosh, she tries so hard, and all the fillers and the Botox and the extensions and the boobs that were jacked up to her chin. Did you see that? Tries so hard to get Jesse's attention, and oh my gosh, he's such a dickhead. Anyway, so the episode starts with, or their scene starts with him, oh, I'm coming from Amsterdam, I'm gonna meet you in America, but instead of coming all the way to Connecticut, he says, let's meet in New York City, which I guess isn't really all that much of a stretch, but he says, meet me in this park. Okay, drama. He is such a drama king. I can't stand him. So they meet in some park, and she's she has to take the train, and she's wearing these Louboutins, which, by the way, along with her Louis Vuitton bag, I'm sure she's renting from Bag, Borrow, or Steal, because House of 11 is not doing that well that she can afford that kind of couture. Look where they live. It's like a row house, Not there's anything wrong with that, but you're not wearing Louboutins and Louis Vuitton living in a house like that. But yeah, Bag, Borrow, or Steal, I'm sure that's where she's getting these shoes and bags. She's renting them. Anyway, so she drags her rented bag, walking on her rented stilettos, through the train, you know, she's coming up out of Grand Central Station, coming up the stairs, big dramatic, like, look at me hauling I'm tiny, I've got my luggage. Like, the producers clearly did this for dramatic effect, because you're telling me there's no elevator anywhere, or maybe a producer could help her with this bag, or maybe, you know, whatever. So anyhow, she gets to the park with all her luggage, and he shows up, and he has to make a big, like, oh, you look pretty, and she's all, I did it for you, or whatever. And then he's like, let's get an Uber and we'll go to the hotel. So what was the point of meeting in this park? Anyhow, in the Uber, they end up having a fight, and you see the scene that they've been showing ever since the beginning of the season, where she throws open the door of the van and, you don't love me, you never did, and she left, and she's wearing that white coat, which everybody all over the internet was talking about last night. And somebody actually found a designer dupe of that coat. I saw this online. Walmart, $12.88. It really did look like her coat in the photo that I saw. So yeah, either Darcy's wearing a $12.88 coat, which she has to save her money to rent her bags and her shoes, or else it's like, just, this is actually a dupe of whatever couture she's borrowed, bagged, or stolen. So yeah, they have a fight, and he brings up her charge where she got into a physical fight with her sister Stacy, her identical twin, and he brings up her drinking, and we're done, and that's it. And like, what was this big dramatic thing, him coming all over there? Well, obviously he wanted to prolong his appearance on the show. By the way, on the live event, Stacy was one of the guests, and it was funny seeing her because she talks just like Darcy. Like, their mannerisms are the same, and actually at one point I was like, what if that actually is Darcy? But no, they look different enough that you could kind of tell, but it was funny. It was funny. She didn't really say anything that was all that interesting in there. But anyway, so hopefully Darcy and Jesse are done. Who knows, though? He really needs his attention. He wants his Instagram followers, he wants his personal training clients or whatever, and she wants her Silva sisters or Silva twins to get whatever. They have a musical act. I refuse to listen to it. I just can't. I can't bring myself to do that. So, Rachel and John, boring. So they're planning the wedding now. She's in England again. They're when they saw each other, you know, when he met her at the airport, it was actually really nice. He seemed really happy. He drops his backpack and they kiss, and it's kind of nice. It's nice. Although she did that giggle, like whenever she's seen, I can't stand her giggle. Like, check it out. It's nasty. I don't know. She looked a lot better this episode, by the way, than she did in previous episodes. So that's good. Anyhow, so they're together now, and so she brings up this thing where she saw he had been emailing or messaging or something with his ex, and he used the word love in it, and she's all upset. And first of all, I think Keith Brooks, the YouTuber Keith Brooks, has a theory, and you know, I think he might have a point, that she had some kind of like spyware on his phone, and that's how she gets this, because she has this like, something, like her explanation of how she got it is kind of cockamamie. So yeah, maybe there's something to that, but she's all upset about this, and he'd also invited another ex to the wedding or something like this. Like, relax, lady. Like, I'm a jealous person, whatever, but doesn't mean, you can't let your person talk to their exes or have any, she's ridiculous. Like, give me a break. She's being ridiculous. You're making problems where they don't really exist. And by the way, just as an aside, I had mentioned before, and a lot of people have mentioned this before, they had a GoFundMe account a couple years ago, John and Rachel, to go see each other. I just heard today that the amount they raised was $25,000. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, I mean, they probably could afford the $750 dress if they go ahead and start a new GoFundMe account, right? So yeah, that's it for them. They're boring. Rachel and John. Who else? Okay, I'm just gonna quickly touch on Marta and Dia, like, or Dia, she says. They aren't ever gonna meet. Like, no offense, this is a spoiler. The guy is a scammer. He's like, he's been compared to like Sacha Baron Cohen. He's like supposedly he's in Algeria. Well, he's not. He's actually in Tunisia, and he's not even like, they're not in real life. They never meet. I'm pretty sure that's what the sources have said, is that never goes anywhere. And thank God, because I don't know, she's annoying. Like with the cross, like what's with the cross? Oh, I'm some big Catholic. Like, okay, I went to Catholic school, and in nowhere in my school did they teach us to become strippers. Like, you know, it just doesn't make sense. Don't be all like, I'm so religious. You're a stripper. Like, okay, whatever, be a stripper, whatever. Don't act like you're all like religious and pious and whatever. So that's annoying. She's annoying. She seems vacuous, and the guy he's a catfish. Well, kind of. I mean, anyway, I'm done. I'm not going to talk about them. So I've saved for last, Paul and Karini. I really like Paul. I don't know why, and I kind of like Karini. So right now they're kind of my favorite couple. And I have to say, last night's episode was really, really sad. It was very sad. So she's pregnant. They confirm it, whatever they say, you know. She says, oh, I still want a divorce maybe, or something like this. They're not getting along. And then anyway, she ends up going to the clinic, and they discover something is wrong with the fetus, and they have to go, and they have an ultrasound. Anyway, they look at the ultrasound, and the baby's like, there's no cardiac activity. They say that the umbilical cord has gotten closed off somehow. No nutrients were getting to the baby, and actually the baby had died. And it was really, really sad. And actually, like, they showed Paul kind of going around like, somebody please tell me what's going on, because, oh my gosh, poor Paul, he doesn't understand Portuguese, so he actually really didn't know. And the look on his face, oh my gosh, it was actually really heartbreaking. And I've read some people online who say, like, they shouldn't have included this moment and blah, blah, blah. I disagree. You know, this is real life. We're following their lives, and I don't just mean they signed a contract, they have to, but I mean, like, this is, you know, that was very touching. He was very sad. It's really, really, really sad. And I'm glad they showed it, just because life, that happens in life, you know? Like, we can't pretend that sort of thing doesn't happen. Sweeping things under the rug like that, you know, makes some people maybe that go through similar things, makes them feel bad because nobody ever talks about it. Maybe, you know, if they recognize something in other people that they had to do themselves, maybe it makes them feel a little less alone. But it was really sad. And here's a spoiler though. I've heard, and I'm sure maybe you have too, whatever, Karini is actually pregnant right now with twins. So good for them. Anyway, so yeah, that about wraps it up. That was a lot longer than I meant it to be. Sorry. But yeah, again, 8.5 out of 10. Oh, just quickly touching on the tell-all. Ricky's friends, there's that guy and that girl, there's like the blonde girl talking about how sincere and wonderful he is. Don't make me sick, okay? I'll do a video about that later. But yeah, okay, so that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up, comment, please, and become my 8th subscriber. That'd be amazing. I've got 7 right now. You can be number 8. Thank you. Bye.